Welcome back, everyone, for Game 3 of the night of the Gold Amateur Worlds. We have Team CB Ibiza against Team TD Aftermath for our final game of the night. Right now, CB Ibiza is 0-2 on the night, looking for their first win, while Team TD Aftermath, as we saw previously, just got their first win against Team Kitchen, looking to secure another win and up their chances in the standings and ensure that they have a better win-loss record than the other teams in this group right now. Folks, gentlemen, what do we think so far as both of these teams are heading into our final game of the night? What are we feeling? Let's start with Team CBI. Like, what do you think they are? You think they're feeling the pressure?
I
They
mean,
better.
yeah, I hope so.
I
Like,
mean, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, yeah, it's coming from, I don't know, maybe got their heads being talked about as like tournament favorites, having come from Runeterra Academy and
Mm.
talking about like the tiers of leagues, which leagues are better, and like how the brackets should have been done with seeding, but like coming in 0-2 to this match, if they don't win this game, next week is crazy difficult for them to come out of. Like,
You're gonna have to win all 3 games just to even have a chance.
and like they could
Yeah.
even be stuck in tiebreakers, or they could even just be totally out of luck if they win all 3 games next week. Like, we have a real possibility that Mint Gaming is going to be 3-0, depending on how their matchup versus Kitchen goes. And if TD wins this, they'd be 2-1. So there's a very real possibility. Even if they go 3-0 next week, if they lose here, CB could just be out. I hope they put on their big boy pants for this game.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Like, this is a must-win game for CB Ibiza. If they do not win this one, they have a very low chance. Like, I think almost a 0% chance of making it into the playoffs because it is a 50% cutoff. So, 3 wins is really good. 4 wins guarantees a playoff spot. So, at this point, if you end up having 4 losses, that guarantees that you don't make playoffs. You do not want to come into week 2 0-3.
Yeah, definitely, indeed. As CBI are probably feeling the pressure. So who knows? What kind of comps do you think we might see from CBI? Do you think they'll play something simple, or do you think they'll just stick to their guns?
I don't know if they can play simple, straightforward meta. Like, I, I I've seen this team do fantastic things, but like I think they stick to their guns, and I think they're gonna just play their game for better or worse.
Agreed. I think that, CB Ibiza does have a couple of good strengths at their disposal. I still think that Dilly is a very strong ADC. If you land him with Tristana, you end up having a really good opportunity to be able to potentially win that bottom lane. But we saw in game 1, Kitchen being able to get to that back line a lot easier. So I think if you're CBI, I think that comfort pick is more important than meta right now. Play champions that you're good at before playing
Mm.
champions in the meta, so you have the best chance of getting the best skill to potentially win this game 3. But we're
As
ready into
we,
draft.
I was gonna say before we get into draft, real quick, last predictions, and then I'm gonna let you guys go.
Oh
Come
man,
on,
I
just pick.
CBI. I'm going CBI.
All right, I'm gonna have to go TD after what we just saw. TD looked really solid.
All right. Well, with that being said, we'll let you guys get into draft as we prepare for Game 3, CBI versus TDA. Have fun.
All right, let's go into it. CB Ibiza needs to win this game, Jeeves. They are on the blue side up against TD Aftermath. Really quickly going through the bans from both sides. Lulu, Lilia, Gwen versus Swain, Yone, Aurelia. CBI locks in Wukong first.
All right. I mean, the Lilia has been super high prio tonight. I did not expect that, but like I love the champion. She's my profile background in the client. So I'm happy to see the prio. But surprising, and yeah, we see the Wukong first pick that is gonna be pretty much consistent. I want to say it's either banned out or blue side should be first picking it with the flexibility, with the strength in the jungle or in the top lane. But TD goes right back to Shyvana, and do we just assume it's Ikazuchi going Shyvana top again?
I think it is definitely a possibility because we saw him play it fairly well. He was able to bully out the Urgot early on and make it very difficult for Hajime to be able to actually put in any sort of work there. So I'm interested to see if game two is, or if this third game, part of me, is going to be the same for Aftermath. We are going to see a very similar lineup to what we saw in game two, though. Shyvana, Jinx, and Corki getting locked in for Aftermath.
And there is so much focus on Chitin happening here. They're trying with the first round bans, they take out the Yone, they take out the Swain, wanting to get him off of the heavier carry potential picks, and then picking the Corki away. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another Chitin ban here, but like I think they want him on something like the Seraphine so the impact is reduced. I wonder if we see a Garen ban here, but okay, Olaf makes more sense. And yeah, just the Chitin champ pool is so pinched here, just from what he's shown. I'm not going to claim that's everything they play,
Hmm.
but a lot of the prio picks are gone.
Yeah, it looks like CB Ibiza is not worried about potentially getting another Thresh with that death sentence. They can handle it.
Ooh.
They ban out the Tom Kench and the Morgana instead, and Karma is going to get locked in immediately. Immediately responded with the Cassidon for Chitin. It's a very tough
Ooh.
pick, but it is a comfort pick for Chitin, along with the Cho'Gath. Let's go. Let's go. We get some Colossi play in the top lane. Kobita, let's see what he can bring to the table here.
So I saw, I think it was Kobita on the Cho'Gath one time in BOL, because in that Ibiza roster, they would flex the Cho'Gath between top and bot lane depending on whether they were able to get Senna. They would run the Cho'Gath Senna bot lane, which was super effective. But Kobita was, he performed. He won the game on Cho'Gath that I saw.
Yeah, I mean, just really solid opportunity here to not only get um to not only get the opportunity to go for the nice rupture into the feast, you can, I think, kind of bully out the Shyvana here because you do just have a lot of health, and those stats can be enough to be tanky enough to be able to take the game. But that doesn't mean that he can play super scary. Like, I'm really interested to see how well this top lane is going to play for both of these teams, because we get to see once again Shyvana in the top lane. Zach's, I think, guaranteed to go into the jungle here, so we'll
Yeah,
we'll see if it is a repeat performance for Ikazuki.
I would be pretty shocked if we see that Zach go top lane. It would be kind of sweet. I'm not gonna lie. I think it just results in a complete, like, nullifying the matchup that they just wet noodle fight for 20 minutes and then find a way to interact with the rest of the map. And so I think we're gonna see the Shyvana, but
Hmm.
that sadistic, awful part of me would love to see Zach go up there.
No way. No shot. I would walk away. I would walk away from the stream if we end up getting it. No possible way. But we might see it. We might. I mean, anything can happen in Worlds. This is where you want to put out some of the crazy plays. But I think Zach plays really, really well into the jungle. Is gonna have a decent time against the Wukong. Can kind
Yeah,
of disrupt him as much as what it could be. So let's see if it does play out that way. I don't know yet, because we could potentially find what Convey's pool can be. Can he go with the Shyvana, or does it go with the Zach? Let's find out.
like there's a most, I think the craziest iteration of like version of this lineup would be a Karma top and Zac support. I saw a Zac support in one of my solo queue games this week. So like that's the only reason that's even remotely in my mind. But the Ibiza roster that won BOL did that by spamming Karma top. Um, and it really just neutralized the matchup, played safe, built enchanter items, provided massive amounts of utility, had the roaming capability, the heals from the tether were able
Mm-hmm.
to get through matchups. I don't think that's the case, but I could see that being a way they go. I think Zac is a much worse support in this situation. And they're looking for Karma to disengage the Tristana Leona all in, which is going to be absolutely obnoxious, like starting at level 2. Like that lane is going to look to go all in constantly. Um, and so the Karma is their best shot at trying to survive. But
Exactly.
oh, we
I,
got a spicy one.
we do have a spicy one. I think the X factor for me for CB Ibiza is the Cassidon,
Yeah.
because we have the dive power of the Wukong Tristana Leona, Solar Flare into Cyclone into the Rocket Grab Buster Shot or the Rocket Jump Buster Shot. You do have the opportunity for CB Ibiza to put out tons of damage against Solus, but the longer that the game goes on, the more powerful Odaro is going to become on this Karma, the more powerful enchanters become the longer that the game goes through. So I'm very curious to see if the early game goes well for CB Ibiza. If it doesn't go well for CB Ibiza, I think we're looking at a TD Aftermath win. I don't think that they're going to get to the level 16 point for Chitin quick enough when Buckby is your opponent. Buckby with Corki just has a lot of damage as well. So if you can't get yourself into a lead to where Chitin can take control of the game, I think that TD Aftermath just has so many other lanes that can win the game.
Yeah. The we literally just saw the coordination, the team play from TD Aftermath carry them
Mm-hmm.
through early fights, which they might have otherwise lost. Like they got first blood in bot in the solo kill, and then and then Kitchen came back swinging and had a lead for a bit, but just like the consistent team play, the rotations, the good team fighting, and TD just absolutely choked them out of the game. Um, and I suspect that's what TD are looking at here to try to recreate. And like you said, I think that puts the Cassidon timer a bit too long. I do think that if CBI manages to snowball, like if we see this bot lane, this Tristana Leona go all in and get the kills and get the lead, I could see CB having a really strong game. I just the Cassidon is a little weird of a pick there, but I'm just happy to see Chitin on something that makes a difference after how that Xerath played out.
I feel like it's gonna fall into the same pitfalls that we saw him in for game one.
Mm.
But I do think that for CB Ibiza, this needs to be an all-in mentality type of game. If you
Yeah,
do have this all-in mentality, because you are all in here. If you lose this game, you're probably not making it into the top four. You're not going to be making it out of group. So this is a must-win game to force potentially a decent position. If they win this game, TD Aftermath and CB Ibiza are both in a 1-2 situation, and they're going to have the chance to then also potentially be against another 1 and 2 team if Mint Gaming Rocky Road is able to take the victory against Kitchen in their off stream match. So, very big implications to how this game does play out here. But before we take it to the delay, I gotta ask you one final time today, Jeeves. Dragon Soul prediction for game 3.
I doubted and was punished for it, so I think I'm going with Ocean.
Ocean. All right. I am gonna go completely out of the water here. We haven't seen
Mhm.
it at all today. It's gonna be a Hex Tech Rift for game 3.
Oh God, I hope you're right. I really do.
No, we need you to be right too. We need you to get one dragon prediction. That's what we're hoping for. Chat, let me know what your guys' dragon predictions are going to be. We got a really exciting game 3 on our hands. Let's find out who's going to be able to take this game. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Game 3 of Amateur Worlds Group A Gold Division is here. We get to see if CBA is able to go 1 and 2 and force potentially a 3-way tie between TB Aftermath, CB Ibiza, and Kitchen. I mean, what a start to Worlds here, Jeeves.
Oh, yeah, like honestly, I love it rather than any like stompiness, except for Mint, who is apparently the 800-pound gorilla in the group.
Uh, shout outs to Harambe. I'm sad. Man, you remember Harambe?
Oh God, yeah.
I never forgot.
Whew.
It's
Oh, the
important.
timing being just off for TD going for a cheese brush gang. They placed the word right after Dilly got through. And oh, I like this from CB.
Yeah,
TD going for their cheese and CB going for their own.
I wonder who gets cheese first. This is the actual major play of the early game. Who gets the cheese first? Because they are both committing to it. They're both committing to it. Who gets it? They're going into the brush, and they end up being 2 ships in the night. The Zenith Blade lands onto Solus, and I'm not convinced that that was the play that CB Ibiza wanted.
That was so anticlimactic. Like with the whole patience, and they waited for the minions to hit and everything, and like TD was caught off guard, I'm assuming, but like in the end, nothing happened. Now that level 2 is hit, CB has 100% kill pressure. Level 2 to level 2, not as much, but it's that's where the action's gonna be.
Yep. Yep, that is where all the action is at. It's, can Aerocross land a Zenith Blade? Does he land the Zenith Blade? And do we end up getting a first blood for Dilly once again? Remember, first blood for Dilly was able to come through, but they ended up falling short after that. This time, however, I think it was really nicely played by TD Aftermath. They're not allowing them to go in for any sort of really good plays with the Leona Tristana, because they're playing, I think, really, really safely here.
And these are actually both the bot lanes that got just 2v2 solo kills in the first 2 games we had. So which of them is gonna come out on top is pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's very impactful to, how this game actually concludes is, can Dilly get into the lead? The longer that the game goes on, the more powerful both Solus and Dilly become, but also the longer that the game goes on, the more powerful Odaro becomes as well. So I think in the early game, it's really, really important for Aerocross to kind of flex their muscles a little bit and try to find a play here. And with the lane crashing into the tower, this could be the opportunity that they were looking for. Singular Bread maybe going to be rotating down, but instead they are going to be meeting Convey in the jungle. It is going to be potentially a 1v1 jungle play. Singular Bread knows that he does have the crushing blow damage, and the elastic spling shot will be used to be able to get away.
Yeah, and that's just the ridiculous power level of Wukong in early trades like that. Like, no one has been awed at the level 4 Zac spike, but like the joke of the Wukong level 2 power spike is legitimate, and so taking that fight was never gonna work for TD. But I like that they he had actually time to kill there, Convey had the lead on the jungle clear, went for the level 4 full clear, got the scuttle crab, and then got into scout singular bread. So as long as he didn't die, like, that was a win. And so they come back, they're fighting in the bot lane though.
Yeah, I really like this timing from Convey. They knew what they were doing, and they're going to get rewarded for it. Odaro is going to be able to get a little bit of damage, but it's actually Convey that finds the stretching strikes into first blood for the Karma. What spectacular timing from TD Aftermath.
Oh my god, just CB getting caught off guard with the reset into run right back to bot lane instead of singular bread went back to the top side, went to start the full clear over again, which is kind of what you assume, but like prioritizing the dragon, prioritizing the power coming out of this bot lane, like that's the right call here. And it puts TD in a really good position with this 700 gold lead at 6 minutes in.
I am super impressed by that play. That is a play that they knew that they were going for. They scouted it out before by Conway going into the jungle to try to find where any wards are at, to see where Singular Bread was at. So they knew that Singular Bread wasn't going to be there because he probably was going to be topside clearing out his jungle. So Conway goes in, is able to come in right as Arrowcross goes in for the Zenith play to start off that fight, and it works wonders for TD Aftermath. They get Berserker Greaves by for Solus. That is so big for your Jinx, and now they can run this bottom lane.
Yeah, just like the success in the bot lane. And I don't know how I feel about the swiftness boots from, oh god, the fight in top.
Jesus Christ! Kobita just gets completely melted. The Dragon's Flame is too big, and Ikazuki is going to be able to pick up that solo kill.
Oh, that's not good if you're CB, because you kind of want Kobita to be able to survive this this side laning. We saw in the last game how Ikazuchi, even like dying once or twice against the Urgot, still absolutely ran over the side laning and was a total menace. Like in team fights, was so gigantic, but got a 3v3 here in bot.
Yeah, once again, Convey is there and is ready to initiate a 3v3. The Elastic Slingshot is now primed, but they decided to go up against it, seeing that Singular Bread was there.
Ooh. Yeah, Kobita not even getting the feast off. Just, and that's something with the early stats with TD prioing the Ocean Dragon. Gets that. Oh, here comes the fight.
Yeah, Convey goes in. Arrowcross is going to get the Zenith Blade into Solus, but now Convey is in trouble. We'll proc the passive. Solus and Odaro on the way. Can Zach respawn? The smite from Singular Bread will take down the gooey monster.
That's always so satisfying when you're against Zach that you can smite the blob. And now that the Unleashed teleport changes came through, there's no more of the silly TP save on the Zach passive. And yeah, good. I mean, genuinely just good knowledge of their power levels from CB going into that, like knowing they could take that fight. And TD really just split off and kind of left Convey on his own there. Like, yeah, sorry, you were just gonna say.
You're good. You're good. I think that was just the good targeting coming in from Dilly and Arrow, especially from Dilly and Singular Bread, to be able to go up against Convey, and that's that's that coordination and that's targeting that CB Ibiza needs. And they end up getting some gold into Singular Bread's pocket. That's pretty good. Gets them closer into that Divine Sunderer, and now they could potentially fight for this next dragon.
Yeah, the Sunderer power spike on the Wukong is going to be so impactful, because there's really nothing Zach can do about that. Here comes Single Bread into top.
Okay, great use of the Dragon's Descent. Singular Bread going to get nothing out of that flash.
Oh, so well played by Ikazuchi, and like whether that was pure skill and like reaction check or like the luckiest moment of their life, successfully using the ult to get out of the flash cyclone, like perfect play. Like that Shyvana ult has such a low cooldown, and especially compared to the flash on Wukong, like ooh.
Oh no, Chitin's gonna go in and gonna get hit by the stretching strikes. Let's bounce into a kill against the mid laner.
He thought he had Buckby, but oh, there's the Leona ult.
Yeah, gonna go flash, and the Solar Flare. Solus is gonna be the target. Going to be the rocket jump coming in from Dilly. The Church of Dilly will pick up one as they look to try to be able to get another one. Teleport's gonna come through from Buckby as they try to make it a 3v2. Arrow Cross is gonna get hit by the stretching strikes. Gonna be able to get the package coming in from Buckby as well. Cross is gonna be the target and will go down. Buckby will Valkyrie away, and the teleport ends up paying dividends for TD Aftermath. CB Ibiza cannot get another follow-up kill.
They are looking for this dragon now. It's the Infernal that spawned. TD wants this for Shyvana. They have the numbers advantage here. It looks like TD just giving it up. And oh my god, you were right. It's the Hex deck.
I'm 2 for 3, baby. I'm on a roll. That's what I like to see, but the Hex Gates have spawned. You're gonna get just the accelerated play that Hex Gates arrive for, and you know you're excited about it too. So it's like a consolation prize, Jeeves.
No, yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. I love seeing Hex Gates when I'm casting, when I'm playing. It's 50-50. If I'm ahead, awesome. Can't ask for a better one.
Okay, yeah, Buckby's going in. The stretching strikes once again gonna get Chitin into a bad position, and Odaro not gonna take that kill. Buckby will secure their second kill of the game.
Nicely done. Chitin just not expecting Odaro in there, and the weird gank angles that Zac enables are so tough to place vision and for. And TD just playing entirely around that. This is a team that knows super well that the habits and tendencies of Chitin. They've played against him in probably every league. So being able to capitalize on that, really well done. And that's a 0-2 Kassadin. And like it's 12 minutes in, 13 minutes in, and it's Kassadin who's level 9. So you expect to be down, but like it's like, I forget if it was your Redacted that talked about losing gracefully.
I think it was Redacted, and right now, okay, Dilly is actually winning gracefully. Going to be able to pick up another kill with that Kraken Slayer and just blowing up the Jinx. Solus goes down.
Yeah, I don't know why they thought they could leave Solus alone in this bot lane when Dilly and Arrow were that much ahead, and it's such a hyper-aggressive bot lane. Like, of course they're gonna flash for the kill. Of course they're gonna just commit all in. And like, they didn't even have to use Leona's Ignite. Dilly didn't have to bother exhausting. That was just pure jump in, watch the bomb tick down, and Solus is left wondering why Karma was at Rift Herald instead.
Yeah, it was a good dive there, and that's just the all-in potential of a Leona Tristana. Meanwhile, we do have a play in the top lane. That is how you play out of the Dragon's Descent. Going to be able to get the Cyclone into the Rapture, and it's going to be the Feast from Kobita to take down Shyvana. Ikazuki, 30 seconds out.
I was worried for Kobita in top lane once the Blade of the Ruined King came in from Ikazuchi, that was really the big turning point in the Urgot matchup last game. That once the Bork came in, the matchup never went in Urgot's favor anymore, and the HP damage from the Borg, the HP damage from the Shyvana E, it felt like that was going to be even more pronounced in the Cho'Gath matchup. But thankfully, Singular Bread there to make the difference and just take out Ikazuchi, who's trying to play aggressive, trying to build a lead, and not having as much success here.
Yeah, unfortunately, no. I think that I mean, you played it wrong the first time for Singular Bread because he flashed forward and then went in for the Dragon's Descent, but you have to wait for the Dragon's Descent to complete in order to get it. But we've got developments in the bottom lane. Solus is going to be targeted once again. Dilly is on a killing spree, who, after that first blood, has been phenomenal on this Tristana.
And a really interesting play from Ordaro there in the fight. I think the idea was they flashed on top of Solus. And so I think the idea was to make it tougher to right click the Jink. But going in with the exhaust, the flash, and this bot lane's getting rough. I wonder how long they leave them just laning as the bot, because that feels like that's not sustainable for TD. CB knows they have the lead. Dilly is absolutely massive. Jinx had to buy a stopwatch, but like even the stopwatch, that tower is not long for this world. The stopwatch is just going to delay the kill that's already going to come in. But now there's positioning around this dragon, and Buckby has the package. So it's a 4v4, and both top laner teleports are online. Kazuchi's going back to base. Kyten's stacking that Kassadin ult.
Yeah, let's see if they're going to be able to do it. They are just kind of dancing around right now. They're waiting for the teleport to come in from Ikazuki and the teleport coming through from Kobita as the Valkyrie will be used to deny any sort of start from CB. Ibiza, they're going to go in. Arrow cross with the Zenith Blade, going to be able to fall onto Odaro. And now we get Convey going to come through, going to be able to get the slingshot onto Arrow, making it a 1-for-1, making it a 2-for-1 as a Zac goes down. Buckby is able to get some damage in, but it's all the damage from Solus. They're going to be able to pick up a massive amount of damage, a massive amount of kills for Ikazuki, who's now 3-1 and takes the ace against CB Ibiza.
Oh my god, what a massive amount of gold that TD just picked up there. Ikazuchi and Solus got big shutdowns. Ikazuchi specifically getting the shutdown onto Dilly being a fat 700 gold stack. Like, getting the Hextech Drake, getting the shutdown gold, they're gonna get... I don't know if they're gonna get this tower when it's just Ikazuchi and Zac and Singular and Arrow are here to deny it. But, like, absolutely fantastic stuff from TD.
Yeah, they're looking to go in on it, though. Convey was able to use the passive in that last play and will go down, but Ikazuki wants to play in on this fight. Singular Bread is going to come through. Buckby's going to Valkyrie, but Ikazuki did not need Buckby at all. Will take down Singular Bread, who is now indeed toast. As we get to potentially see another tower go down, they won't be able to do so. Dilly will be enough to dissuade any further play.
I like that one.
I've been waiting all day. I've been waiting all day, baby, to say that.
Ooh. Oh god, the hunt from CB.
Yeah, Ikazuki's going to be the target here, but a nice blast cone. Maybe Ikazuki will survive, but no! It's now the Church of Dilly getting that shutdown. Dilly's going to try to rocket jump away, but Solus is going to be able to take down one. Trying to be able to go golden, and we'll try to take another one against Kyten. Will he be able to? He does! And Buckby, not able to get the rocket onto Dilly, will survive that play, but that is a 2-for-1 special for TD Aftermath.
And that was a play that CB were the aggressors. They thought they had made the catch, and that was almost even worse. Dilly barely escaped Buckby and Ordaro chasing him down. And now they're going to lose this bot lane turret, and the gold that was in CB's favor going into that dragon fight. They're now down... It's only 1,300 going into 20 minutes, which is basically nothing. It's super minor. But, like, it's just like we saw in that last game. The differences in each of the roles are in TD's favor, just not like that pronounced. The big one actually is Dilly has a 1,000 gold lead onto Solus. So the Tristana that CB is looking on for this carry performance is like, it is there. Almost at 9,000 gold now, has 2 items online. So like Tristana, like this is the game for Dilly to show the carry potential for CB.
It's time for the Church of Dilly to come out to play, and this is the opportunity, like you said, for it to happen. Everyone talks about in chat how the Church of Dilly is there, but we have yet to see a really major highlight play from him that has resulted in a game-winning performance here at Worlds. They need to see Zilly come through, but now Ikazuki is going to be the target of a play themselves. Going to use the Dragon's Ascent to try to get away from Kyten and from Kobita. Does have enough health to go through the towers and is maybe looking to be able to get to use the Blast Cones to get away, but Kyten's going to be able to come in with the Rift Walk to be able to get the slow. Tries to go in for the 1v1. Ikazuki trying to get the play, and they do end up getting it. Solus with a beautiful Super Mega Death Rocket to make it a 1-for-1. Meanwhile, in the bottom side of the Rift, Convey is going to be able to get the flank onto Dilly and on to Arrow. The stretching strikes are coming through. A beautiful solar flare from Arrow is going to make the play. Have to convince from Convey. Going to go in for the last bounce onto Dilly. Going to try to make it happen as Dilly is able to survive a massive rupture from Kobita, but it's going to be Dilly that goes down. Solus is going to be the target and will get shut down himself. Meanwhile, Odaro going to get hit by another rupture once again, and Kobita with the double. It's a full wipe against TD Aftermath.
Oh my god, just like one by one, all of these, all of the players just come filing in. And they, yeah, CB just managing to scrape out the edge. The so much of the focus coming in from TD, trying to pile on Dilly, who just survived that long in that fight, put out that much damage. And while the focus was on Dilly, like Singular Bread got the damage done. Kyten came in, did die in that fight, if I remember right. But like the initiation on the plays, like the teleports that were first coming in for CB, and so TD was just trying to react.
Oh, nice Zenith Blade from Arrow Cross. He's going to have to go gold to try to get out of this one. He does have package, but he can't even use it. He'll go down. Kobita's on a killing spree as Singular Bread will fall to make it a 1-for-1. Ikazuki is next. Convey does have the passive available as Dilly is going to be in the backline trying to be able to get damage. Solus will take down Kyten. He's down to 200 HP. Avoids the Super Mega Death Rocket. Dilly with a double kill. Solus going to try to back under tower, and he's going to try to get away. Going to take 3 tower shots. It's a triple kill for Dilly. He ends up getting shut down though, but it's the dragon that's going to be the reward for CB Ibiza.
It's a little bit risky. So they're going to go for Odaro instead.
I think they have it. I think Kobita's too strong. They're going to try to flash forward. Buckby's going to come in. Buckby's going to try to be the heroic hero that he can be, and he is. Buckby's the hero that Odaro wanted. And so they end up getting punished for not trying to take the dragon.
And Ikazuchi is teleported back already. We're gonna get like a 10v10 just like non-stop team fight.
It's what it feels like, right? Like Singular Bread wants to try to go in for this dragon, and he's waiting, but Convey's on the way, and Convey will be the one that secures it. Singular Bread was not there in time, and will end up being able to walk away with his life, but that ends up being a play that works out for TD Aftermath.
Yeah, somehow. At the end of all that, they walk away with their third dragon, their second hex tech. And so now there's that 5-minute timer on Dragon Soul and Hextech Dragon Soul, which is like intentionally unbalanced. Like it's rarer. It's the rarer to spawn of the dragons, and so like Riot's intentionally made it that stronger, and it's so big on so many of these champions. Like you see Ikazuchi trying to run people down with that AoE chain lightning slow, like Buckby getting that additional chain lightning on those rockets that are already going to be hurting, even though he's been held back in the itemization. Having to go for the Zonias means it's not the same Buckby that we saw last game with the first item Ludens. But like the Corki is still gonna hurt. Hextech is massively impactful as a soul here. And so CB has themselves in the position where they have to fight for that in 5 minutes.
Arrowcross is going to be targeted here, going to get hit by the elastic slingshot, but will avoid the root. Good maneuvering from the Leona to stay alive in that play. But Baron is the reward for whoever could potentially win a team fight here. The blue buff will go over to Kobita, thankfully. But, I mean, very, very intense fighting going to be on for both of these teams, with Baron potentially being the reward and a chance to win another game in Amateur Worlds. You want to see both of these teams win out here. Meanwhile, we do get the Screech going to go on to Odaro and Convey. They will be able to get away, so it just continues to be a back-and-forth battle.
Oh, they're just poking out damage, going for positioning and wards, and, like, they're not committing in any serious way. Like, you could have seen, I can see a world in which Singular Bread goes for the Cyclone there and tries to commit onto Ordaro and Convey. But, like, the mindset is they just don't want to be the one to make the mistake and throw the Baron here. So, like, the nerves are on such a fine edge. Like, you can see it's starting to get to them.
Yeah, and this is such a close game between both of these teams, and it also favors Chitin, because despite Chitin being in such a sad position at the very beginning of the game, he's now level 14. He is extremely close to being able to get that level 16 power spike that you do have to worry about that if you're TD Aftermath, because he's going to start to be able to deal that damage. He's on the way to being that superstar that the CBI Ibiza needs him to be.
The problem Chitin's going to have is that Solus has enough kills, has enough gold, that was able to go third item GA. So the assassination is that much tougher. And Buckby did itemize for the Zonias. So the two big damage carries are going to have that additional safety until the peel from Ordaro, the peel from Convey can come in. And I suspect at the end of the day, they're relying on Ikazuchi to go in and like try to hit the back line. But it's going to be I'm really curious to see how these team fights play out, because TD needs to find a way to get on to Dilly, and they don't have like the Kaisa, they don't have really an assassin like the Kassadin on the map. So getting onto this Tristana is going to be super difficult, but it's absolutely essential, especially now that the Triforce has come in for Dilly. So the damage is bonkers.
Yeah, I mean, you call it a Triforce. It feels like it. It is. It's like the it's the Exodia. It's the Exodia build for Dilly. He's just gonna wipe everyone off the board. With the Infinity Edge, Kraken Slayer, Phantom Dancer, he does have the damage to one-shot these carries if he is able to get into the backline. Baron is up. Hextech Drake and potential Soul for TD Aftermath is available in 15 seconds. We have to see if they're going to be able to make it happen. We do potentially get to see a potential flank coming in from Ikazuki, who is caught out of position here. Package is available for Buckby as well, as Singular Bread is taken down to half HP, and it's now river control for TD Aftermath. The Dragon has indeed begun. Buckby still has the package to be able to utilize that to zone out, but a great Solar Flare is going to land on to Odaro, and we're going to see the initiation coming through. Kai's going to be able to go into the backline. Buckby is going to go golden to try to be able to survive, but Solus is also alive. Buckby will fall. It's a shutdown for Convey. Odaro will die. Kai's going to try to do what he can, but he can't get through the Guardian Angel of Solus, and it's another team fight win for TD Aftermath. A triple kill for Ikazuki, potentially a quadra. It's a quadra, and the Hextech Soul for TD Aftermath.
Oh my god, just the defensive itemization. Like, God bless him. CB tried there. Like that really was, I feel like, as close as that team fight could have been. It was such like minor differences. I didn't even see how Dilly ended up going down there, but it looks like Dilly went down almost first. But like Ikazuchi being so gigantic, this dragon flying through the team fight. Oh, and from like a fairly even game state. Like I think going into that, going into that fight, TD was even down a little bit, but now they've got themselves a 3,500 gold lead. They've got the Hextech Soul. They've got the Baron buff. This has become a really tall ask for CB, but like definitely not impossible. Like especially okay, a brief disconnect from Buckby, but I was just like, all right, that's the way for CB to get back in this if Buckby alt F4s.
Man,
But
it's such a heartbreaker team fight for CB Ibiza because it did end up being the Guardian Angel that was the difference between TD Aftermath winning and losing. Solus having the revive denied Chitin the ability to be able to assassinate him. And it ended up resulting in such a big team fight win for TD Aftermath that I don't know if CB Ibiza is going to be able to get past both Baron and Hextech Soul. It's just such a big advantage.
cool. They're going for Ikazuchi though.
They are going to get the Rupture, and they're going to get a lot of damage onto Ikazuki. He doesn't have a way to get out of this one, so they do get the shutdown onto the Tristana. That's a massive influx of gold onto the Cho'Gath, but the siege is continuing in the mid lane. They will get the inner tower to go down, and their next target is going to be the inner tower in the bottom lane.
A big 900 gold shutdown going on to Kobita feels a little bad, but like at the point in the build where Chitin is now, like that would have just finished a Frozen Heart, which I'm downplaying it. It would be absolutely massive since they're trying to go onto Solus here. Like getting a Frozen Heart feels like it's gonna be very, very impactful, especially because we do have the level 16 Cassidon. So like this is the dream.
Yeah, Cassidon's going in, going to get hit by the strikes, but the Rupture going to be able to go into the backline from Kobita. He's trying to be able to peel around, and it's going to be Convey that's going to be the target who will go down. Cross going to be able to get a nice Solar Flare into Odaro once again. Solus will fall. No Guardian Angel this time. The Rupture comes through. Odaro is next. He will fall to Kobita. It's a double kill. Make it a 4 for nothing in favor of CB Ibiza.
Oh my god. And TD just, I don't know if they didn't pay attention to the numbers on the map, but they went all in a 4v5. Like, I'm sure they were just counting down till Ikazuchi respawned, and he hit the TP button as soon as he respawned. But like, getting that team fight, getting the tower, which for some reason still had a bounty, even though I think the gold was dead even. But that's just how bounties work. Fun time. Just a shockingly sloppy team fight out of TD, who have been so good in team fights outside of that instance. And it is like you called out, the GA wasn't up. Like, that's such a massive thing for Cassidon being able to jump onto Solus, which we're seeing again.
Oof. Chitin just obliterates the Jinx here, so they will not be able to go in for a play. It is a 4v5 power play once again for CB Ibiza, but they're thinking their lucky stars that Solus will have Guardian Angel available for the Elder Drake that's spawning in a minute 25. Chitin is going to be very low. Probably can't go in for another play as the objective bounty once again going to get claimed, and it's now, oh no! Chitin, what are you doing backing in that brush? You're going to end up falling as the Solar Flare is going to go into the backline. A huge Solar Flare from Arrow Cross, but Buckby is still alive. The Feast is going to go in onto Odar to be able to get Kobita onto a Rampage, and it won't matter that Chitin was the target. It's still enough damage from the rest of the squad to give CB Ibiza another team fight win.
I don't get why they keep picking these iffy fights. Like, okay, so I get it. The idea was they engage on Kite and they take him out, and then it's a 4v4 fight while they wait for Solus to respawn. And then, like, at some point in the fight, Solus can throw out a super mega death rocket and be a part of it. But, like, it was still a 5v4 that they were taking there. And it's like, sure, you got the shutdown onto Chitin, but gave up so much gold still, and now Convey's not up. They've got to fight. They're stuck in a 5v4 situation with this Elder Dragon coming up. The Elder Dragon is alive. Singular Bread's already on it. Cassidon's joined the fight. They're trying to poke down this 6,000 health Cho'Gath.
Let's see if they can do it. As the Solar Flare does get drop up, he's going to drop the Valkyrie and the package. Who gets the Elder Drake? It's going to be taken by Singular Bread, and now the fight is swinging into CB Ibiza's favor. Singular Bread is going to be very low. We'll drop the knock-up into the Cyclone to take down Convey. Buckby is the next target for Kobita. He wants the feast, and he gets it. It's 2 down against TD Aftermath. A shutdown against Singular Bread, but it's the Elder Drake that goes to CB Ibiza.
Oh God, yeah, that was so close. If only Convey had been alive for that fight in the very beginning, that he could have been the one to be in the pit, not Buckby. But like, I love the idea coming out of Buckby. Just go all in with the package, with all of the Corky damage, and that's 4 items on Corky. So Buckby is pretty close to as massive as can be. Oh God, Kazuchi has to Dragon's Descent out of there, which feels so bad because now they have to fight against this Elder Dragon buff for the Baron, and Buckby's still dead. And this is just, they keep taking these fights, or they keep honestly having to take these fights while they're outnumbered in these bad situations. The death timers being staggered.
Baron is now down to about 5,000 HP. Who's going to be able to get it? Convey wants to go in. He wants to try to steal it, but no. Singular Bread has the smite steal and takes down Convey, who is just left to the slaughter. Kobita is dominating, and with Elder Dragon and Baron, this is potentially the win condition that CB Ibiza needs.
Oh. Yeah, just like one bad fight into another, into another, into another. I think that's at least 3 bad fights. Staggered death timer is being just abused really successfully by Ibiza. And it feels weird that as soon as they got the Hextech Soul, like they had that one good fight that got them the Hextech Soul, but it's been downhill since then for TD.
It's such a massive moment here. Kobita is going to be targeted, but he is just taking all of the hits. He's such a tank. Solus will go too far forward and will get hit by Chitin, who will now go into the GA. Will they be able to get Solus to go down? They will. Ends up being a 1-for-1 as this Gargoyle's Stoneplate gets used by Kobita to be able to take all of this damage. The Church of Dilly has arrived. It's a double kill for Dilly, a double kill for Titan, as they still have 4 up with Baron alive. Convey's gonna go with the Elastic Slingshot, trying to go for the heroics, but he will fall. It's the ace for CB Ibiza, and it's a 1 victory game for CBI.
Oh, man. We've really got 3. Well, okay. I don't know the results of Mint versus Kitchen, but like, the 1-2 dream, the tied up group. But like, wow, like that game. That game looked so iffy for CB in the beginning. Like, it looked like TD had their number, and then just the phenomenal team fighting, the really just good decision making, taking TD out of that, and just TD picking these bad fights, or not even picking, getting forced into these bad fights, because I think that was well played by CB. Not necessarily that badly played by TD. I think there were moments where TD could have just given up an objective instead of forcing the all in a bad situation. But like, ooh, CB finally came back. CB showed up tonight.
They sure did. They made it happen, and we got to get redacted in here to talk about how close that game was. I mean, it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
It could have indeed. Am I on here? Can you guys see me? Can you guys hear me?
We
Am I?
sure
I can
can.
hear you.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that game definitely could have gone either direction, but fortunately, CB Ibiza pulled out the win, and thank God they did, because now I just got word that Mint Gaming Rocky Road went 3-0 for the night, and now everyone else is 1-2. So the group is up for grabs. Second place is up for grabs. It's anyone's to claim now. So, anything is possible. Like, these three teams are now vying for second place. MGRR is just, they're chilling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they literally just have to win one game next week and they're good. And honestly,
Yeah.
like,
Oh, go
even
ahead.
if
My
they
bad.
even if they don't win any games, if they go 0-3, they have a really good chance of getting through anyways.
Yeah, because then it would, like, they already have the head to head, against everyone so far. I mean, but if they were 0-3, it's a whole different ball game. We're not gonna get into the math because that's a lot of math that I don't want to talk about.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, but yeah, so I mean, but well done from CB Ibiza. They got the win. We emphasized like how serious it was for them to win this game. I believe Moose, you talked about Dilly if he got Tristana. Was that you said that right? Like they
Yeah,
shouldn't give
Yeah.
this guy Tristana, and what did he get?
he did it. He did it. I was saying I was going to retract my Church of Dilly membership if Dilly couldn't pop off, and he sure did. He made it happen this game, but it was a team effort, I think, from everybody in CB Ibiza to make it
Absolutely, it was.
happen. And
Yeah,
we've got ourselves a tournament now. Both Group A and Group B have three teams that are 1-2 in the standings, with one team going 3-0. Rising Tide Seagulls able to win both of their, or all three of their games. They're 3-0, most
yep,
likely securing a spot in the playoffs. Same thing with Mint Gaming Rocky Road, but we get to move into week 2 with three teams that all have a big chance to potentially take it into the playoffs. And I'm super, super pumped because that last game could have really gone either way.
yeah. Yeah, it really could have. Like when Aftermath got the hex tech soul, I was just thinking to myself, "Oh well, here it goes. That's probably gonna be the game." But then they couldn't end. Elder came up, and Cho'Gath just became. I don't know if anyone caught it, but in Twitch chat I typed tank meta is back. We're here. I personally, as an once again, I told you, like I said, I'm an AD carry main by nature, so I love tank meta because I let my tanks just go ahead and take all that damage for me, and then I'll go ahead and hop around and get damage done as I like to as an AD carry. But Cho'Gath got crazy scaling, and unfortunately for Aftermath, they couldn't really protect their damage dealers as well. I mean, when you have a Wukong, a Cho'Gath coming in your face, like there's only so much a Zac can do to create some type of chaos. And then the Shyvana top, while it did have some purchase, it really she once she dives in, she's not coming out, right? Like she's just
Yeah.
gonna create chaos, a mess, create as much distraction for your enemy as possible, and it's up to the people behind you to hopefully clean up what you're doing. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case because once again, once the Shyvana and Zac are in the front, there's not too much to protect you in the back line. So unfortunately, Aftermath just lost that game there, and they couldn't pull it out.
Yeah, I love that you call that the Cho'Gath because that pick was so disgustingly massive in those late game fights. Like having 6,000 plus health, the Gargoyle Stone Plate, and the
Yep.
Thimble
Yep.
Winter,
Yep.
like most damage taken in the game, but also genuinely competed for the top end damage done. Like was right behind uh actually, yeah, did 100 damage less than Solus on Jinx
Wow.
as a Cho'Gath building full tank. So like Kobita was
That's
massive.
actually disgusting. Yeah, that's actually disgusting. But I mean, that was great though, because I personally I would prefer the teams would have a lot of competitiveness in our groups. We only have 2 days of groups, so I prefer some competitiveness rather than I mean, sure, Mint Gaming, they went 3-0. I don't know if they stopped all their games, but at least the teams there is some parity between the teams that have lost now. So it makes it
Yep.
that much more exciting for day 2, which will be next week Saturday, because now you're really fighting for your life here. Like I know we said every game matters on today, and it still does, like but day 2 is going to be even that much more tense because once again, it's only a best of one. You only get one shot at your chance to make it into playoffs. There's only 2 spots. And right now, one of them is already claimed by a team that hasn't beaten every single one of y'all in this group. So you're going to have to regroup and try and figure out what went wrong. And hopefully you can take down MGRR so that way you can create some more chaos in the group and hopefully secure your spot.
You know,
Yeah.
I still got to root for Mint Gaming Rocky Road. I mean, from coming back from the Aegis background, they're 3-0. They're looking pretty good here in Group A. So, really excited to see what Mint Rocky Road is going to be bringing to the picture in this next week. We didn't get to stream them at all today, but we do get to stream them again. We do get to
All
stream them.
3 games.
Yep,
So
all
we're going to
3
see
games next week.
we'll
We
see
gotta
their wins and maybe their losses.
we'll see if they drop a game, because if any of these teams are able to if take a game against Rocky Road, that could be a
Mhm.
huge boon to give them that second place finish. I think, coming out of these wins that we saw today, the expectation is that Rocky Road will be one of the playoff contenders here from Group A.
Yeah,
Anything can happen. Don't count any of these teams out, and it just means you've got to tune in to next week to see who's going to be joining them in the playoff.
that's right. That's right. As next week, Saturday, once again, will be our last day of groups. We're only doing 2 days of groups. The week after that, semifinals. And then the week after that will be the grand finals. So tune in next week, Saturday, for our last day of groups to see if your team that you're rooting for or the team that you don't want to get into the playoffs happens, if that will come to fruition or not. Um, any last words from you, Moose, or you, Jeeves, before we sign off for the rest of the night and prep for MSI finals?
Man, just a great night of games. A lot of
Mhm.
fun. And like you guys have been saying, I'm really psyched to see how week 2 shapes up with 6 teams being 1 and 2. That's mind blowing.
Yeah,
There's no way I would have predicted that going in here. That's fantastic. I'm really psyched.
Thank you to our producers. Thank you to all the graphic designers and everyone behind the scenes. Small, Matt, Jake, Ivar, um, uh, Maker Zach, all of you guys.
you
If
make it sound like it's the season finale. It's just the first day,
yeah,
Moose. We're not
hey,
ending just
listen,
yet.
listen. If I don't shout out my producers, they end up muting me halfway through a team fight, and then I get sad. So we have to thank them every single time. If we don't, we got to pay our tax. We got to pay our thank Matt tax. So can we get some thank you, Matt, in the chat so that we can keep things going? It's super appreciative. Thank you so much. And follow everyone on Twitter. Redacted, Jeeves, myself. Follow us on Twitter because we need those followers. 100%.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, our socials are there for you all if you would like to follow us. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and wind down for the night. We're gonna let you all go, get back to gaming. Stranger Things season 4 is out. Like I said, I'm gonna go get some Z's though because I'm about to watch this RNG versus T1 finals at 3 a.m. Central Time. That's my time zone. But in the meantime, once again, day 2 of our groups will be at the same time, same stream next week Saturday. You don't want to miss it. And until then, we'll see you then. Have a good night.